I am Debbie, and this is my partially completed shelter. I just wanted to kind of show you what I'm doing and kind of why I chose this design. This actually is kind of a really cool frame. I found this in a Native American architecture book, and it's an old Algonquin design that they only know existed because they found the post holes in the ground at one of their archaeological sites. And basically it starts here, goes around, and then continues to spiral out, so there's like a little entryway at the door. And for me, you know, in shelters, the bigger they are, the harder they are to heat. And a lot of times you have just little short doors coming into a lot of these kind of shelters to keep the heat in. And you know, I'm no spring chicken, and the idea of crawling in and out of the shelter every time didn't appeal an awful lot. And I love spirals, so I thought, you know, this would be great. I can have a couple of doors, and so hopefully keep the heat in without, and I have to duck down to get in, but I don't have to crawl. Now, some of my tall friends have to crawl, and they're not, maybe they can, I was the nicest building it this way, but you know, it's great for me. So, so the frame had, you know, it has that history, and then I had options of what I would use to cover it. And I decided, in looking at the materials available here, that I wanted to try and thatch my shelter. Thatching is something that's used around the world. It's been used throughout Europe and Asia and Africa, South America, North America. So it is a very commonly used shelter material. And basically, you know, what it is taking bunches of grass and tying them on. And you start at the bottom so that each next layer, you know, provides more and more coverage. So the wall is actually very dense, and as I've gotten it done, it provides an incredible amount of protection from the wind. It's also taken an awful lot of time. I would have never guessed how long it would take to thatch this. I've probably put in 2.5 weeks of you know, just thatching, and I'm over halfway, not quite 3/4 of the way finished. So you know, that's kind of fun. And then for the roof, I could thatch it all the way up, but what I'm thinking, I've got cattail mats. I've been making off the ends of the grasses. I've been making grass mats. So I'm probably going to do some kind of matting for the roof of the structure. So at this point, I'm just finishing up putting the bracing poles in up on the spiral, working on making mats when it's not so frigid that I can do the tying with my gloves off. And still looking for grass, and winter came a little early, so we're, you know, kind of scrambling, finding grass to finish this up. And right now I've put up a tarp. You know, our hope is to do everything totally primitive, but you know, we're also very realistic. You know, we came late in the fall to start this. We knew winter was coming, didn't think quite as early as it has, but we knew we had a lot to get done. So things like the tarp to keep it dry in here, and I also have been using commercial jutes for tying. Just in the thatching alone, I'm probably going to go through 2,500 feet of material for tying. And you know, the natural cordage, obviously we're going to use that as much as possible, but for the sake of getting shelter for this winter, you know, needed to go with the commercial, because that amount of cordage, not only, you know, taking that much resource from the land of the plants that could provide it, it would be a bit excessive for this shelter, but also the time it would take. I'd still probably be tying cordage to get that ready. But I'm really excited to get this done and move in, see how it works. I've had a fire in here a couple times, and just have the wall up, you know, to maybe 2 feet tall at this point, and just with that windbreak, it really warms up in here nice. So I'm really hoping once it's all completed that it's going to be a really snug, cozy place, and you know, fun for people to come and see how thatching works, and you know, realize that grass is enough to keep you dry and warm even in very cold weather. So here's my shelter.